All right. We are live, I believe. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Our Life, Step 2. I was feeling super duper chill, so I was like, I want to play this. Let me check the volume real quick. All right. Seems fine. Cool. Let's continue this lovely chill game with growing. Early one afternoon, you found yourself in the living room with your family. It was another one of those summer days when it felt too hot to go outside, but it was too uncomfortable to do anything inside either. The air conditioner was cracked up. The air conditioner is like cracking up. I'm so cold up in here. Was cranked up as far as you could negotiate it, but everyone was still being pretty lazy. You, your moms, and sister were lounging around while the TV blared on in the backdrop, ignored by all of you. You specifically were lying spread eagle on the carpet, sitting cross-legged on the floor, perched on the arm of the couch. Perched on the arm of the couch is more like me, I think. Elizabeth had claimed the entire couch for herself. It was too hot to argue over the space, so you didn't bother. Oh, well, no, never mind. Lying spread eagle, I guess. You stared up on the ceiling, your eyes unfocused and mind clear of all thoughts. Elizabeth broke the silence with a loud groan. You glanced over. She was lying on her back over the couch, massaging her calf with one hand. Ugh, I feel terrible. I'm dying in this house and my legs hurt. Mom looked up from the magazine she'd barely been flipping through and frowned, concerned. Could you have strained them somehow? Elizabeth flailed briefly, then flopped onto her side with a heavy sigh. I don't know, it just hurts.
Sweetie.
Oh, sweetheart. Ma got up from her seat at the kitchen table and walked over to your sister. She did a light pat on Elizabeth's shoulder sympathetically. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. Maybe it's growing pains? You could be taller by next fall. Elizabeth scoffed. She didn't look impressed by Ma's assessment. I'd rather be my height forever than deal with this. Mom walked over too, leaning against the back of the couch. Kids, they grow up so fast. Soon Elizabeth will have a home of her own, maybe even with a nice husband and some kids, if she feels like it. She sniffled loudly and wiped at her eye, but you could tell that it was just a bit. You tilted your head. Even though you knew Elizabeth liked guys, it was hard to imagine her with a boyfriend or husband. She only seemed invested in hanging out with her group of friends, not chasing after boys. Mom must agree with you, because she shook her head.
Now.
Let's not exaggerate, she's still practically a child. But if you ever do pursue romance, Elizabeth, you can come talk to me about it. Definitely, we're always willing to lend an ear. Elizabeth's features contorted in disgust. No way. I am not talking to my moms about that. Mom's jaw dropped, and she gasped in an exaggerated display of shock. Her hand came up to rest against her chest. Ma only grinned. She didn't look offended by Elizabeth's quick response at all. It really wouldn't be so bad to come to us. I know what it's like to have a crush on a pretty boy or two. I don't, but I can listen anyway. Mom snorted at her own joke, while Ma burst into giggles. They were having a little too much fun at Elizabeth's expense. Elizabeth certainly wasn't feeling the amusement because she rolled her eyes and sat up.
Thanks.
I'm going back to my mom. What? I'm going back to my room. What? My mom. I'd rather melt alone, thanks. She strode off towards the staircase, taking the steps two at a time. Your mom stared after her, then turned to each other with raised eyebrows. Whoops, looks like we scared her off with all the romance talk.
Well?
Oh well, we'll get her next time. We watched them titter with some surprise. Obviously, your moms liked women, but you had no idea that Ma liked guys too. Today was the first time you'd heard her say something like that. Wait, you've had crushes on guys since when? Ma turned to you, happy to bring you into things now that you'd spoken up. She smiled and nodded. Always, I like both. But I like your mom most out of everyone. She's special. Ma's smile turned all soft in the corners like it usually did when she looked at her. She pinched Mom's cheek lightly. Mom reached up to a cup. What? Mom reached up to a cup. What the fuck? Mom reached up to a cup hand. Okay, to cup a hand. Oh my god, over Ma's. Even when Ma stopped pulling her cheek, their hands remained clasped together.
You're fantastic.
That sound clip was so enthusiastic. Thanks, Lonnie. I think most women have charm, but no one can hold a candle to you.
Aww.
Aw, Pamela. Ma beamed, then kissed Mom on the cheek she'd been pinching before. You laughed at their antics. That's what I'm doing right now, so I'm just gonna do it. You chuckled quietly at their little back and forth. They were always saying cutesy stuff like that to each other. Ma looked back at you, letting Mom's hand go with a brief squeeze. She settled down next to you, and Mom followed soon after. You know, I'm also here to listen to you whenever you're ready. That offer isn't just for Elizabeth. She bumped her shoulder with yours, a reassuring smile in place. There's no rush, of course. You can take all the time you need to figure out what or who you want.
It's okay.
Don't you think you have to stick?
It's
What?
okay.
Don't think you have to stick with whatever you came up with right now, either. Life's nice like that. It can change and you can learn. Mom nodded her agreement.
It's okay.
Oh my god. The two of us are happy to hear you out, and we may be able to relate better than you think. Still, we won't push the topic, at least most of the time. She gave Ma the weakest, scathing look possible while being unable to stop grinning. Thanks. I'll think about it.
Wonderful.
Good, that's all we can ask for. Mom let out another exaggerated sniffle. It didn't take a genius to realize it was fake. First Elizabeth, and now you, James. Do you have to grow up? Yes, children tend to do that from time to time. Your parents quickly grew absorbed in their conversation about rearing kids. You took that as your cue to leave, getting up so you could spend some time alone in your room too. They let you go without problem, so you made your way up the stairs. You let out a sigh once you stepped into your room. It was just as sweltering in there as it was in the living room, possibly even a little warmer. You couldn't even open your window since it was hotter outside, and you just let the AC out. You dragged your feet as you crossed the room. You checked your current sweltering condition in the mirror as you passed by it. You thought back to the conversation you'd had downstairs about growing up and all that. After a moment, you stepped a bit closer to the mirror. You stared into it, then turned away from the surface to look down at yourself. You were definitely growing, all right. It was weird thinking about how you were now in comparison to what you'd been when you were younger. When it came to your body, Was getting some muscle definition nowadays? I guess this one. You shifted to the side, your head still facing forward and continuing the self-evaluation from the viewpoint. At birth, you were assigned female, and at birth, you were assigned male, and you were born intersex and. So, if it's me, assigned male and. Your chest was only flat. Your chest was flat, but you thought about it being different. Your chest was flat by birth, but you aimed to have breasts through hormone therapy. This game is awesome. And that's just the way it was for you. You reached over and massaged your scar with one hand. Messaged your scar. Staring intently at it in the mirror. By now, you knew it was here to stay. Wait, what? What scar? Signed male and your chest was only flat. What scar? I don't get it. We were assigned male and our chest is flat. I don't get what the scar is. Like I don't get the relation. Oh, maybe because I chose a scar somewhere around my body. Initially. By now you knew that it was here to stay. You took a step backwards, finished with your impromptu inspection. You locked eyes with your reflection, cocking your head to the side, all things considered. All things considered, you thought you looked fantastic, you didn't look too bad, you had no idea how to feel. You were simply neutral, you were self-conscious. You just wanted to look different than you did. Oh, let's be positive. Fantastic, baby. You beamed, pleased with what you saw. You even went for good measure. Before chuckling at yourself. That's funny. You shook your head roughly, putting thoughts of what you were turning into out of your mind. This wasn't the time to focus on such things. You had to find something to do in the seat. You shuffled over to your bed, collapsing onto the mattress, your brows scrunched up in thought. Time passed slowly, and to your annoyance, possible ideas about what to do were few and far between. Well, while we figure out what to do, we'll take a little bit of a break, because I think I want to do just one moment this stream, so this is probably halfway. So let's take a little bit of a break. As I choose, I think I'm feeling quite possibly, I think I'm feeling Stupidity Obsession. So let me bring up Stupidity Obsession real quick. Cool. And I'll be back after this song.
You're feeling down. right in my therapy while my head is aching. 'Cause your stupidity's all I keep thinking. Saying to myself, don't waste your life away. Not your problem, they put their intelligence at bay. Brush it off and don't let your energy be drained. Give your mind a clean slate. Don't obsess so fucking much. Must keep your peace of mind. Stupidity, obsession is why you're feeling down.
All right. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right. Time passed slowly, and to your annoyance, possible ideas about what to do were few and far between. You weren't sure how long it had been, but eventually, you heard your mom call you from downstairs. James? There's a call for you. Cove wants to come over. Is that all right? You perked up at the words, sitting up in bed. You yelled back to her immediately. Yeah. You got to your feet and headed downstairs, eager to see your friend. You needed to go downstairs soon anyway because your empty stomach told you it was almost time for lunch. Just as you reached the bottom of the stairs, you saw Mom put the phone back on the receiver. She glanced at Mom, leaning her hip against the kitchen counter.
What a pickle.
Well, here comes trouble. We better prepare ourselves. Mom clicked her tongue in clear disapproval of Mom's words. He's such a good boy. Cove never wants to cause trouble. He can just be a bit thoughtless and impulsive. Wait, what are you talking about? Oh, I know. He's very sweet, but that's what makes it more of a problem. What? Why? I don't get it. If a stranger or some kid from school was egging James on to behave badly, I think we can both agree that he'd do the right thing in the end. What? But if Cove Holden got into a reckless mood and wanted James to be a part of the ride, can we really be certain of what call he'd make then?
Yes.
What? Yes, I think so. James helps Cove settle down. What are you talking about? He would have gotten himself in even more trouble without him.
Thanks.
You have a point. What trouble? What are you talking about? Look, all I'm saying is that I haven't forgotten that time that they were kids and James chased after Cove once he ran away. Oh. Ma just laughed as she turned away, still snorting. Her eyes met yours. She blinked in surprise, then waved at you with an easy grin. Mom looked over, noticing you at the foot of the stairs as well.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't expect you to come down already, James. I wanted to let you know what was happening. You pretended you didn't overhear the conversation. You called Mom out on her comment. Let's call them. Well, if I hadn't come now, then I wouldn't have heard anything you said.
Pam.
Ooh, you got caught, Pam.
What?
What? You were saying things too. I didn't say anything I wouldn't have told to James directly. Oh, you're unbelievable. You shook your head at your parents, even as you fought a blush when you remembered just what they'd been discussing. Alright, you got me. I'm sorry for being gossipy and saying that stuff about your friend. I can be bad too.
Let's go.
We'll get out of your way now. Mom sighed in mock defeat and made her way down the hall. Mom followed after her with a hushed giggle. Now you were alone in the living room, tasked with waiting for Cove. And that was just fine with you. If it hadn't been so hot outside, you would have visited him at his house a long time ago. You took a seat at the kitchen counter and settled in for the wait. As expected, there was a knock on the door a few minutes later. When you got up and answered, your neighbor was standing on the other side. He came in once you stepped aside to let him pass, giving a little wave. You greeted him as you typically did. With a wave, with a shoulder, with a noogie, with a hug, with a nudge. Let's go with the hug. He groaned and wriggled in your arms like a fish out of water. Why?
Aw.
Stop, it's too hot for this. You didn't take pity on him. You knew he was kidding. If you really wanted to get out of the hug, you would have done it already. Eventually, you let him go, smirking to yourself. Alright, I'm done. Cove sighed and wiped at his face a bit. You noted the sheen of sweat across his brow. He must be glad to be back in an air-conditioned place, even if he only had to walk across the street to get there. So what's the sudden visit? What's with the sudden visit? I don't want to do anything, not when it's like this. He gestured vaguely to the humid air hanging around.
So,
I thought I could at least do nothing with you. That's a great line. You thought that was really sweet, yeah. His words were nice and expressed real fondness for you, in a strange sort of way, which was usually the case with Cove. Have you had lunch yet? I was gonna do it soon. He shook his head.
Not really.
I hadn't really felt like eating because of the heat. I probably should have lunch. I didn't have breakfast this morning. Yeah, I get like that too sometimes. Yeah. My parents don't like it when I do that though. Mine don't either. They'll ask if I ate here when I go back home. As one, you headed into the kitchen. You crossed your arms as you glanced around, wondering what you should scrounge up for a meal. I don't want to eat anything that's warmed up. Is there something cold or not cooked? Yeah. After a bit of back and forth, the two of you concluded that you should raid the fridge and cabinet in order to make sandwiches. With that settled, you had planned to decide on the outside layers first. There was a wide variety to choose from, since everyone in your house had their own favorites. There was white bread, wheat bread, sourdough, mixed grains, gluten-free bread, and pita pockets.
Hey.
Could you take the grain one for me? Sure. You reached for the mixed grains, then made your decision. Let's go with mixed grains. You wanted mixed grains as well, so you set just that onto the counter. Then you had to decide what main direction the sandwich would go in. Oh. You wanted to make a sweeter style sandwich, you wanted to make it true savory style. Savory. Something savory would make it feel like a real meal. As for the specific ingredients, what would it say if I said sweeter? Something sweet would be perfect in the sweltering heat. I guess the first one actually. You know what? Yeah, in this heat, sweeter is better. As for the specific ingredients, let's go with... No, actually, I don't want these. I want it savory. All right. Let's go with avocado, peppers, pickles, lettuce, not tomatoes, red onions, what did I pick? I don't remember what I picked exactly, but hummus. And yeah, that's good, I think. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know if I just made an atrocity or what, but like, I like all those stuff separately at least. As for the finishing touch, you intended to top your sandwich with hot sauce. Is good in this heat. That's it. You nodded to yourself with a quiet hum, satisfied. The two of you bustled around the kitchen, opening and closing things in order to collect everything you needed to your individual sandwiches. You focus intently on assembling your own. For the most part, when you were close to being done, though, you glanced over at your neighbor. Cove was putting a sandwich together delicately, his brow furrowed and tongue sticking out just barely. There were open jars of peanut butter and honey near his plate, as well as a banana peel. So he was making a peanut butter, banana, and honey sandwich on mixed grain bread. That sounded great, yeah. Maybe you'd have one yourself at a different time. Curiosity satiated, you turned back to your plate and finished your own creation. By the time you were done, Cove had already cleaned up his workstation. He turned to face you, studying your sandwich briefly. He gave it an incredulous look, but didn't question you about it. Good. Done? Yeah.
Cool.
He waited as you quickly returned the ingredients and cleaned a few utensils. Then, the two of you collected your respective plates. You both agreed on heading upstairs to hang out in your room. You and Cove entered your bedroom while balancing your food on the plates. Nothing fell, so it was a successful trip. Cove took a seat on the ground, stretching out on the hardwood floor in an attempt to keep a bit cooler. He immediately took a bite of his sandwich, chewed, then hummed happily. This sandwich is really good, at least that's something. At this point, you sat down and started on your own sandwich. You nodded, you were enjoying your soup, yeah. Obviously, you were a pro at making sandwiches. He leaned back on his hands while chewing and glanced around. His every movement was sluggish. Want to do something? It seemed the plan of not doing anything at all had already worn thin, despite his lack of enthusiasm. Yeah, sure. He rolled his head back, looking up at the ceiling. What about tic-tac-toe? He laughed at the suggestion but went along with it, sure. You put your plate onto the side. You put your plate to the side and pulled out some markers and scrap papers. As you laid everything on the floor, he scooted back to make more room in front of you. Cove picked up one of the markers with his right hand, while keeping a half slice of sandwich in his left.
All right.
I want to be X's, so you can go first. I think that's fair. Okay, good, because I wanted to go first. Okay. You prepared to note down your first move, your markers hovering over the paper. Oh, that's cool. Oh, this is cool. After the first round, you were about to take another bite of your sandwich. Then, when a thought occurred to you, I wonder if anyone turned off the TV downstairs. The TV, it was on earlier, but no one was really watching. Then everyone started leaving the living room. I know I didn't turn it off. I might still be on the. It might still be on with It might still be on downstairs with no one there. Cove smiled crookedly at that.
Oh.
Poor show, playing with no one around to enjoy it. What was it? You squinted off into the middle distance, trying to recall the show's name. I feel like it was some kind of crime-solving drama. Cove nodded sleepily, his eyes closed, then opened again with some effort. Can you give any specifics? Maybe I can guess it. Well, you rested your chin on your open palm, groggily thinking as hard as you could. I remember there was a woman with long blonde hair, I think. She was the one solving crimes, like as a detective or something. Is this Lucifer? There were scenes in a police station because someone got arrested. Are we talking about Detective Deca? You lapsed into silence, the both of you thoughtful. Then Cove chuckled. It wasn't that funny, but you joined in the laughter anyway. I don't know what that is. Me neither, and I just saw it. Damn you. Another round came and went, and Cove grumbled as he readjusted himself. His features were twisted in a grimace. I feel so lucky. I'm gonna be stuck to this floor forever now. I'll have you charge your rent then. Yeah, how much? 50 bucks.
What?
I can't afford that. Well, you've got to pay up if you want to stick around. Cove shook his head at your terrible pun and went back to the game instead of answering further. Then you returned to the game. Bum 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 bum. Bum. Let's see. Oh my god. I think I'm gonna lose. Right? Yeah, you know what? I have the privilege in going back, so fuck you, Cove. I'm gonna do this. No, I'm gonna do this. But like, what the fuck? If I do this, and how am I gonna win in here? I don't care. I'm cheating.
Oh. I don't know.
What?
Whatever. Cove spoke up once more, catching your attention. He was peering down at the piece of paper between you. His expression thoughtful. You know, tic-tac-toe is such a weird game for a game. Weird name for a game. What does it even mean? Maybe they named it because people play it with ticks and tacks. What are ticks and tacks? Cove raised a spectacled brow. You bit back a laugh and feigned seriousness. It makes sense because they probably didn't have paper and markers back then. What about the toes? Because it rhymes. You couldn't say anything to that. He had you there with no answer to be found. It doesn't rhyme, but it sounds good. With no answer. Oh, we're yawning. With no answer to be found, you return to the game. Oh my god. I think I'm gonna win now. Nope. There's no way I'm letting you win. By this point, Cove had finished his sandwich. Yours was almost gone too, but now you were getting thirsty. You brought it up to your neighbor. Should we go downstairs to get some drinks? I was thinking that too, but I don't really want to get up. Me neither. You looked over at him, narrowing your eyes with false suspicion. But hey, what happened to you not being able to get up ever again because you were stuck to the floor? That's still true. I mean, we're not actually gonna go, are we? Are we? I only thought about it. You rolled your eyes and dropped the issue, defeated. Cove grinned a little at your disappointment over the victory. This this sucks. Not this game, this tic-tac-toe that I'm doing. Why can't I win? Oops, it's a tie. Were you out of it? I know I didn't try that hard. I even went back, dude. I suck at tic-tac-toe. I suck at this game. He smiled at you in an amused way. You somehow weren't surprised by that, despite Cove being the one who suggested the game in the first place. You started to yawn. He started to yawn, his hand coming over to cover his mouth. It quickly transitioned into a small laugh. God damn it. You understood why, yawning just as he said he was feeling disinterested was kind of a funny coincidence. You laughed along with Cove. Cove just grinned and flopped onto his back, leaving his marker on the floor beside him. You stayed seated, looking your friend over as he stretched himself out. You really are so tall now. Cove snickered a bit at the random topic. He propped himself up onto his elbows to meet your gaze. Why are you even bringing that up? You shrugged. It made perfect sense to you to bring it up. Moms were talking about me and Elizabeth growing up, getting bigger and stuff.
Oh?
What kind of stuff? Well, Mom only likes women and Ma likes women too. But not just women. Yeah? Why am I yawning so much? Sorry. Oh, yeah. Since the two of you were engaged in conversation, Cove got back into a sitting position. He brought a knee up and rested his arm atop it. A wistful expression overtook his face. I wonder when I'll know how I feel about that kind of thing. You don't know? Cove shook his head. I've heard at some point you're supposed to start liking types of people, guys or girls or whoever. But I haven't.
know.
Nothing's changed. Maybe I have to grow up more. Maybe you just don't like anybody, or maybe you like all types of people. That's normal too. Cove seemed to appreciate that thought, if the smile that appeared on his lips was any indication. Okay, what about you? Who do you like? He turned his attention to you, looking encouraging. If we're gonna go... Listen, at this point, let's diverge a little bit from reality. Let's say we like both. You were starting to have physical attraction in a general way. You only seem to have physical attraction in specific cases and situations. You didn't really have a physical interest in other people. You didn't think you could tell if you had an interest in people physically. I guess the first one, I thought this was gonna be like, you know, oh, I like boys, I like girls, I like, you know, whoever. But romantic attraction in a general way too. But specifically, when it came to how you felt towards boys, oh, there we go. You weren't physically interested, but you'd be happy in a romantic way. You were interested in guys. You generally weren't interested in guys, but there were special exceptions. Oh, that could be cool. That could be like as close to reality. Cause like, I'm straight, but you know, the love interests in this game are boys. So this is a specific special exception. And how you felt towards girls. You found them attractive. You thought you'd be happy with a girl someday. Found them attractive, but you hadn't thought about being with a girl. Let's go with the first one, but I think we can still be with Cove or Baxter or whatever after even choosing these. For people who aren't exclusive male or female, you found them attractive. You thought you'd be happy with someone non-binary one day. You hadn't thought about being with someone non-binary. I mean, it's fine. You know, the same as other people. So I guess the second one. You returned your attention to Cove. He was waiting patiently for your response. You explained how you felt to Cove. He nodded understandingly at your attempt to describe how you felt. Then he scratched the back of his head, sheepish. I'm not really sure how we ended up talking about all that, but when we started out just playing tic-tac-toe. But it was good, I think. I think so too. Cove chuckled a little bashfully. He glanced around, clearly scrambling for something else to say. So, have you gotten any new accessories or stuff recently? Yes, actually. In about 3 days, I'm gonna get glasses because my eyesight is weak and I have astigmatism, so you know, I need glasses. So yeah. Oh yeah, I almost can't believe I forgot to tell you. The conversation took a little turn after that, and it felt like he got closer that afternoon. Closer that afternoon, yeah. Finally, the blazing sun began to set. To your relief, the air cooled down a bit as a result. You pulled yourself off the floor, as did Cove, with some minor complaint. You both stretched your arms, groaning, and yawned into your hands. You glanced out your window briefly, taking in the soft reds, pinks, and purples of the late afternoon sky. Somehow, you have made it through the scorching hot day in one piece. Cove turned towards you, motioning towards your window with his chin. Want to go outside? It might be better out there than it is here now. Let's do it. I'm sick and tired of being cooped up inside all day. The two of you took your time heading downstairs. You stopped briefly to grab a drink of water, then continued on your way. Let's actually drink some water right now. Hydrate, guys. You stepped outside, one after the other, your destination being the familiar hills behind your house. Oh wow, this is pretty. This time of day was quiet outside. The flowers blew gently in the wind, petals trembling but stubbornly hanging in there. And I want to take a little break again to refill my water and stuff. So I'll be back after this song. And I'm feeling Imagination Waterfall. So give me a moment. And I'll bring up Imagination Waterfall. All right, be back after this song. Mwah.
Without you, I'm not here. It's all too much to bear. Wouldn't know my heart's truth. Stay in my lost cocoon. Imagination waterfall. When I'm without you, feel like I'm going through withdrawal. I just wanna be with you all the time. You are so alive. I wanna live in this moment, you're in this perfect time. In between space-time, swimming in oceans of fever, love couldn't be a crime. Living in the time. My heart was full of pain, but then you came and saved my life. Made my soul ignite. Imagination waterfall. When I'm without you, feel like I'm going through withdrawal. Imagination waterfall. When I'm without you, feel like I'm going through withdrawal.
All right. We are back. This time of day it was quiet outside. The flowers blew gently in the wind, petals trembling but stubbornly hanging in there. You felt the breeze cool. That was a great sentence. You felt the breeze cool your heated skin and you relaxed your shoulders. Cove closed his eyes, releasing a deep breath. I really love it here, out here. I do too. Cove smiled. Tendrils of his hair danced with the wind. Yeah. A beat passed with his gaze, but his gaze didn't stray from your own. His voice was impossibly soft when he spoke up again. So he says, I'm glad I met you, James. You are really important to me, you know. You blushed at the statement. I feel the same. Your voice came out equally delicate. From the way his features brightened, though, you knew he heard you. The two of you looked over into each other's eyes. Nothing more needed to be said. Even as the sun disappeared completely from the sky and the sky darkened, you and Cove remained side by side for as long as you possibly could. Aw, that's cute. Okay, so it ended. All right, well, we did one more moment today. Thank you all so much for hanging with me. Kisses, and I'll see you in the next stream. Bye.